Hello and welcome to a new episode of the EU Decoded podcast by the EPP Group in the European Parliament, where we'll bring you a brief wrap-up of this past week's plenary session. So here's what was on the table in Strasbourg. As global competition intensifies and new threats emerge, the European Union is rethinking how it protects its economy, its borders and its citizens. From competitiveness and defence to migration reform and cyberbullying, we explore what's changing and why it matters. It's been clear for some time now Europe needs a stronger defence to face growing threats. The EPP Group supports increasing European defence budgets and stresses that no country can face today's threats alone. Europe must stand united. And that unity, says MEP Nicolas Pascual de la Parte, must also be reflected in a European single market for defence.
And that means a single market for defence. That means a European industrial and technological base, as you have said, Commissioner. And above all, we have to reform also our architecture and our decision-making processes so that we can have, at the end of the day, a European headquarters, a European command and control change, a military integrity change, and we are able to take our own decisions.
He says strategic autonomy will be crucial, and Europe must strengthen its deterrence and prepare for any potential conflict, including a high-intensity war on European soil.
So far, the European link with the US has been a relationship of dependency, and it is not possible anymore. It's unsustainable. The new transatlantic link has to be based on reciprocity and equality, and that's why we need a European Union of Defence, a European Union that is capable of taking the future in its own reins.
The EPP Group supports increasing European defence budgets, implementing the drone shield, enhancing military mobility, and strengthening surveillance of the eastern flank. But ensuring security and safety for the EU starts at its borders. This week, the European Parliament approved 2 laws aimed at strengthening the EU's response to illegal migration. A list of safe countries of origin and the application of the so-called safe third country concept. These laws help complete Europe's asylum system, so decisions are faster, clearer and fairer. They are designed to speed up returns for people who come from countries considered safe and who do not qualify for asylum. At the same time, they aim to protect those who genuinely need asylum, while allowing unfounded claims to be rejected more quickly. And that takes pressure off the system and allows resources to be focused where they matter most. MEP Lena Dupont points to the main obstacles in the current system.
So one of the bottlenecks actually we faced in the recent years was that we had a huge amount of applications where, in theory, we already knew that most of them were unfounded, but they nevertheless needed to go through the procedure. First and foremost, what we need to make sure for a fully functioning asylum and migration system is to make sure and clear that for the earliest possibility that there is, we decide whether someone is actually in need of international protection, and if someone is not, of course, then the return decision needs to be issued at the same time.
It's important to underline that these new laws still preserve the right to protection. By clearly distinguishing between those who genuinely need international protection and those who do not, the EU is taking what MEP Dupont describes as a more effective and responsible approach to migration control.
This is also important because we need to protect the right to protection. It's enshrined in our treaties, it's enshrined in international obligations. And at the same time, making sure that asylum is not used for other purposes, for example, legal migration, because for that, we have different routes to the European Union.
Well, that right to protection has also been relied upon by millions of Ukrainians seeking shelter over the past 4 years. Russia's aggression continues with ongoing attacks on Ukraine's energy infrastructure, including heating plants, power lines and other civilian infrastructure.
Miljoniem Ukraiņu mīnus 20 grādu salā ir atstāti bez siltuma, bez ūdens apgādes, bez gaismas.
In the middle of winter, millions of Ukrainians are left without heat, water or electricity, said MEP Sandra Kalniete. She called on Europe to maximise humanitarian and energy assistance to Ukraine and to help the country strengthen its defence capabilities. According to MEP Michael Gahler, those capabilities could be intensified with weapons that some European countries already possess, such as Taurus long-range missiles or Patriot air defence systems. He also argued that the only way to bring a war criminal to the negotiating table is to increase military pressure until he realises he cannot win.
Wie bekommt man den Kriegsverbrecher im Kreml dazu, nicht nur weiter zu bomben, sondern ernsthaft an den Verhandlungstisch zu kommen? Nur wenn er sich militärisch unter größerem Druck fühlt und nicht mehr glaubt, diesen Krieg zu gewinnen.
As part of the continued support for Ukraine, the European Parliament approved a €90 billion loan this week. $30 billion for macroeconomic support and $60 billion for military and defence procurement. The EPP Group fully supports Ukraine in its fight to recover full territorial integrity and sovereignty. In its view, this is not only a war against Ukraine, but a war against the democratic world and its values that poses a serious threat to the EU. Beyond security, Europe also faces another challenge: strengthening its industrial competitiveness and economic growth. The EPP Group's focus is on cutting unnecessary red tape, creating quality jobs, and encouraging innovation and investment. The group's chairman, Manfred Weber, says Europe already has skilled workers, solid infrastructure, and a strong GDP. But above all, he says, there is a growing political will to make Europe more competitive.
Wir haben 26 Millionen Unternehmer. Wir haben mit 18 Billionen Euro ein starkes GDP. Wir haben qualifizierte Mitarbeiter, eine tolle Infrastruktur und vor allem jetzt den zunehmenden politischen Willen, unsere Europäische Union wettbewerbsfähig zu kriegen.
One key step on that path is deepening the EU's internal market. According to MEP Christian Ehler, that could be the single biggest boost to the EU's economy.
If we would agree, independently from the United States, Trump's and so, if we would agree to deepening this market, that would be the biggest contribution to the European economy. And I ask the Council not to be ideological, national hesitant. We have to deepen the market and not repair, and not to ask for obscure made in Europe, not to ask for more subsidies, not to ask for fear of deregulation. We have to go to the substance.
The EPP Group wants to see concrete actions to eliminate remaining barriers to trade within the EU once and for all. Companies, particularly SMEs, startups and mid-caps, need support to grow, scale up, innovate and compete. But Europe's strength isn't measured only in GDP figures or industrial output. It is also measured in how well it protects its most vulnerable, especially children. And that brings us to cyberbullying. The EPP Group has spent years pushing for cyberbullying to become a criminal offence at EU level. Unlike bullying in the physical world, online abuse is still not treated with the seriousness it deserves. Millions of children and vulnerable people experience cyberbullying. Following sustained pressure from the EPP Group, the Commission has made the fight against cyberbullying a priority, presenting a new action plan earlier this week. MEP Jeroen Lennars described it as a good starting point, but he said the bar must be set higher.
Online bullying is just as devastating as abuse that happens on the street, and it must be treated with the same seriousness. It must be criminalised across the EU because all our children deserve to be better protected. So this action plan is a good starting point, but when it's about our children, we can never raise the bar high enough, especially as we are living in the age of AI and deep fakes.
The figures are stark, and they underline the need for urgent action. Around 1 in 6 adolescents has experienced cyberbullying. And at the same time, around 12%, that's nearly 1 in 8, admit to having bullied others online. And there have been too many cases where cyberbullying has led to tragic consequences.
Mamy jasne zadanie do wykonania. Prawo unijne I krajowe musi być tarczą chroniącą najmłodszych przed przemocą.
There is a clear task ahead for lawmakers, said MEP Eva Kopacz, the Parliament's coordinator on children's rights. The EU and national law must serve as a shield protecting children from violence, including online abuse. A common definition of cyberbullying is a good step in this direction, she said. And the next step, she added, is for member states to include clear provisions in their criminal codes, ensuring that all forms of abuse, including online, are properly punished. Well, from defence to democracy, from economic growth to online safety, the choices made in Strasbourg this week point to one thing. Europe is redefining how it protects its future. So thanks for joining us for another episode of EU Decoded, and until next time, goodbye.